Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cupid. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be getting into a collective reading. So I'm really excited because I have not done a collective reading in a little while. I did feel called to do this reading. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Usual disclaimers: take what resonates, leave what does not. If you feel like this reading does not resonate with you at all, that's okay. That just means it's not for you. It's for somebody else, right? We are all interconnected, and I am reading for a large unseen collective. I ask Spirit what you need to know at this time, the most relevant messages, what needs to come out, who needs to hear it, who am I going to reach, and what do they need to hear. So Spirit is the one that decides that, not me, not you. So just take what resonates and leave what does not. So anyway, collective. The first card we got out here, we have time. This is your overall energy right now. I feel like you feel that maybe you have been detoured. The goals you've set a long time ago, you may have not reached them. You could be doing something completely different than you thought you would be doing, right? There's just a general energy of being in an unexpected place or ending up in an unexpected place. This energy did come out in one of the groups in the last reading I did. So if you didn't watch that pick a card, maybe you should go watch that pick a card, okay? But in this image, I don't know if you can see that well, but there's a boat here, okay? There's a path here leading up to this person. And then there's this little rowboat. And this rowboat has been completely taken over by plants. All right. So this is where you are. You are that rowboat. And when I think of this, when I see this person here, maybe you feel exposed. Maybe you feel embarrassed, or maybe you just feel like your struggles can be seen. Okay. There's an element of somebody around you is able to kind of witness this trajectory, but also witness this struggle. Okay. You, at one point, right, this rowboat, it was being used to float or row over the water, and it would carry a person, right? Now this rowboat is alone, possibly abandoned, right? Left on the shore, and it's completely taken over. And this is you. You have been completely taken over by new responsibilities, completely taken over by new relationships, new obligations, right? You are completely different, and your life is completely different than the past. And the purpose that you were fulfilling in the past is not the purpose you're fulfilling now. And you may feel that the purpose you're fulfilling now is just not in alignment with what you want, right? There, like I said, there's this energy of abandonment, feeling like you are far from home, far from what you need to grow or succeed. But this card is also really about, it can be also about accepting that you are no longer the same, accepting that you are now fulfilling a new role or a new purpose. But I don't know yet. I don't know yet if that's what Spirit wants you to take from this. But anyway, so that's where we are, right, collective? We feel like we have detoured from our original goal or purpose. Next we have here is the Four of Cups. So one thing that's coming out very strongly is that you do have options, okay? There are options here. Unfortunately, with the Four of Cups, they're a bit limited. Okay, you don't really like what is being presented to you. You don't like your options right now. And I'm also getting this energy. I'm so sorry about my dog. I'm also getting this energy about resisting. There is this desire to resist these options. There's a pushing away. There's a frustration that I'm feeling with this Four of Cups, where it's like you don't want to deal with these things. You don't want to do these things, right? And it's like you're kind of detached, right? When I see with these cups, there's an emotional detachment, right? So you, for example, you could be doing a job you don't like, but in order to do it, you are emotionally detached, right? Because that is the only way you can do this without complaint. You know what I mean? I feel like this is Spirit nodding their head with you, right? Spirit is kind of in solidarity with you here, in agreement. Yes, you have these options. You have options, yes. But Spirit also recognizes with you that these are not the best options, okay? I feel like you need to know that if you aren't already, you need to know that it is okay to hold back. It is okay to reject or decline anything that is not in alignment with you. Because if you are dissatisfied now, right? If you are unease or in unease or at unease, I'm not sure exactly how to say that or frame that, you know, you're not feeling fulfilled, then don't keep holding this weight, right? Because let me tell you something, because I remember when I was talking about this card yesterday, and I was talking about growth, you know, and there's all this growth that happened over this period of time. Even though you've been detoured, you've grown up, there's a lot of growth here, but you don't know how to carry it. And so it becomes a burden, right? Because it's attached to these things you don't really want, right? This strength, this resilience, right? These leadership skills, right? These management skills, you know, all of these skills that you've gained doing something that is not in alignment with what you want, they are useful, right? But how can you apply them? How does it apply to what you really want to do? Okay? How does it apply to what you really want to do? So Spirit is saying you've done enough growth in that regard, right? I don't know if you guys know anything about reading, right? Or like learning to read or teaching to read, okay? But when you are learning to read, in order for you to apply context, right? Because this is what actually ends up happening, right? You can be in fourth grade and you read okay, right? But you're not improving, right? Your comprehension's not improving. And a lot of times people's comprehension can't improve because they don't have enough background knowledge, right? This is just general knowledge about the world. When you don't have enough background knowledge, it could be hard to put a word together. Even if you're sounding it out, it may be hard for you to say the word correctly or completely understand what the word means, because the context, it requires you to know more than just how to read, right? It requires you to know, because when you read a word and then you're like, oh, that's a word for something you already know, right? You already know that word, but this is how you spell it. Then you make those connections. If you've never heard that word before, you've never seen or heard that concept before, a lack of background knowledge, it can keep you from having better comprehension. Okay? And so that's where we're here now. Spirit is saying that you have gained enough background knowledge, right? You're ready for the next step. Okay? You're ready to do more studying, to learn more in-depth things. You're ready, basically. Okay, you have enough background knowledge. Remember when I was saying those leadership skills, right? Management skills. Maybe you've learned to use Excel because you're at a job where you got to use Excel, but you don't even want to do, that's not even what you want to do, but you have gained that skill. It can be that something that simple. But Spirit is saying that you may not like your options now. That's fine. But instead, let's look at what you've gained. Let's look at what you've learned, right? Let's see how you've grown, and let's see how we can apply it. With the Four of Cups, it's time to stop taking on responsibilities or taking on things that really don't align, right? If you're upset that you have been redirected, stop redirecting yourself. Okay, be picky. Let's be picky now. Okay, Spirit says you have earned the right to be picky now because you have done the work. You have gained background knowledge, right? You're more mature now. You can handle more now. Okay, so let's move on to the Magician energy here. I feel like for some of you, you could be entrepreneurial, right? You could be some type of creative, right? With the Magician here, I'm seeing that you are somebody, whatever you're working towards, whatever skill, whatever career, whatever project, whatever you're working towards, it is something that requires you to create it, right? It's something, how do I explain it? With the Magician, I'm getting, you're putting your hands in it, or like, what's that quote or that saying, like whatever this is something that you be putting your foot in. Like, you got to put your foot in this. Like, this is, I'm getting either something that's manually laborious or something that, you know, like I said, maybe you're creative. You either paint, draw, you do film, you know, sing, you write. There's something here where you have to create it. You are the one that has to do it. It's not, you know, it's not something that somebody can hand to you, right? It's not a job you can just apply for, and then when you get to the job, they tell you what they need you to do, right? No, this is you creating the job, right? With the Magician, you're creating the job, okay? And so what you need to know right now is that whether you think so or not, you are ready to create the job, create the career, right? So you could be on a trailblazing path, right? You're a trailblazer, right? That means you're the first to do something. You're not meant to just follow behind and do the same thing that somebody else has done before, right? You're meant to pave a new path, create a new way, right? A groundbreaker, okay? So that's where that Magician energy is coming through. It's telling me that Spirit wants you to really start utilizing your resources towards what you want, right? Because you've gained all this skill, you've gained all this background knowledge, but how can you apply it? That's for you to figure out. You're ready now. You have your tool belt or your toolbox is full enough. You are equipped enough at this time to build your empire, okay? With the Chariot, I feel like you need to know that this is the right time. This is the right time. This is the time to redirect. And I think I did say something about redirecting in one of my past shorts that I posted, okay? It's time to redirect. I was talking to my mom on the phone today. And I was complaining about health insurance, y'all. My health insurance went up, okay? And I was just complaining about this to her. And as she gave me advice and as we discussed, we're just discussing, and she's giving me advice, she's helping me out, giving me pointers, we're working through this issue. And she tells me, she's like, we don't know what's going to happen in the next year, right? She was talking about staying up on what's happening as far as health insurance, the health industry, keeping an eye on those things, right? Because we really don't know what's going to happen this next year. And she was just telling me to, have faith, keep my head up and keep my eyes open, right? It's kind of But the way she would describe me, it was almost like watching stocks, right? Like, she was just saying that we're at a time now where a lot of things are changing. And so don't worry, don't stress, because we don't know what things will look like next year. And so I feel like that's where this energy is, this whole little section. I'm going to get into these cards too. But you don't know what next year is going to look like. Things are in motion now, right? The changes are happening now. Things are shifting left and right, up and down. That's the Chariot energy. Lots and lots of crossroads, lots of things redirecting, going in new places, right? So this is how you deal. This is how you deal. When everything around you is shifting, that means you shift as well, okay? You shift, you redirect. If everything around you is re-strategizing, you re-strategize. Spirit is saying that right now is the crossroad. Right now is the time to make a switch, to do something different, to put your money where your mouth is, if that's what you want. Because when the movement settles, it could be harder to make those shifts, right? Won't be impossible. It will never be impossible, but it could just be harder, okay? The Chariot, you are in a crossroad moment. This is the perfect time to redirect energy and do something different, okay? Plant seeds, right? Whatever you need, whatever goal you have, now is the time to really start pushing things in that direction. We have the warnings are clear. Spirit wants you to know that it's right in front of you. I feel like a lot of people right now, we feel the uncertainty. We are affected by the imbalances. But so many of us, admittedly, even myself, and I've been really working on shifting out of that. But so many of us are trying to continue to do things the same way we've always done them. And right now, that is just not going to work. Okay? Spirit is saying that it's obvious that we are not going back to quote unquote normal. Normal is shifting as well. Okay? So the longer we try to keep doing things the same way we've always done, the more we're just resisting evolution. Okay? The warnings are clear. We're not going back to the past. We're not going back to 2012. Okay? Rent is never going to be, well, I don't want to say never, you know what I'm saying? But when all this is over, rent is not going to be $500 to $800. Okay? We have to adjust as we go. Okay? It's like red light, green light, or musical chairs. When the music stops, sit down. But when the music starts, get up. And when you're up, keep your eyes open. When you're up, keep an eye on your movements. So when the music stops, you'll have a place to sit. Right now, the music is going. So if you're sitting right now, or if you're standing still right now because you just want things to be normal, you're going to have a rude awakening when the music stops. If you're overwhelmed by the music and the motion everybody's doing, and you decide to opt out, you decide to do nothing, you're going to be surprised when the music stops and you don't have anywhere to sit. Okay? So that's really what Spirit is saying. Oh, and remember I just said movement, marbles. Oh my God, when I got pulled the marbles card, I heard moving parts. There's lots of moving parts. You don't want to trip over these parts. You don't want to get caught in the storm. I'm sure many of you have heard about when people at, large groups of people at events, suddenly there's like a stampede, right? Either people are running away or running out. There's something going on and everybody starts running and people get trampled. People get trampled and people die. I hope YouTube don't punish me for that. But I've been watching the P. Diddy documentary. I haven't finished it yet, so don't spoil it for me. But I got to, I might be spoiling it for you. But anyway, maybe not, because this is something that happened to him that was a big deal. And it was really early in his, conception, you know what I mean? But he advertised an event. There was a lot of hype. And because of the hype, there was this huge stampede, a huge rush of people, and 9 people died. 9 people died from getting trampled. And so this is Spirit kind of... Spirit is really trying to call you to action here. Letting you know that things are moving. There are a lot of moving parts. And if you don't get up, and if you don't start moving and using this chaos to gain control over your life or gain control over your objectives or your effort, you can be crushed. You can be left without. You can be left behind, left forgotten. There's a lot of marbles here, okay? And also obstacles, right? I'm thinking of Home Alone. These obstacles are all over the place. And you're not going to bypass them by ignoring them. If you ignore these obstacles, you're going to walk right into them. Spirit is urging you to lock in on that discernment and that awareness and move like you know how to play chess, right? It's a game in these streets. It's a game, right? And I feel like we're definitely and I don't see any coins. So yes, we have an economic, we have economic worries, but this is bigger than your money. This is your livelihood, the life you build, right? What you do every day, your career, your family, right? Trying to get to that day-to-day that you love, trying to build that reality of the day-to-day that you want. There's a lot of instability right now, and unfortunately, that can be the perfect condition to get what you want, because things are disorganized, things are mixed up, and things are constantly in motion. When you can lock in on the signs and you can interpret them, you can make moves or predict moves that will greatly benefit you in the future. Let's go ahead and get into these message cards, okay? So the first card is say less. Say less. So some of you, whenever you have these ideas, you talk about them a lot. Maybe you just, you broadcast things, or you just go on these passionate, speeches about what you're going to do and what you're just so happy for. Spirit is saying, cut it out. Don't talk about it. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. Okay? Because let me tell you, as an artist, let me tell you, if I get excited about something and I go and tell my boo, oh my God, I'm going to paint this and I'm going to draw this and I can't wait to do this. Can you imagine how hard it is to actually start? Oh yeah, it's hard to start. after that. Because all that energy, all that creative fire, I let it out talking. Don't talk about it until you start it. Okay? And even then, some stuff, don't talk about it until it's done. Spirit is saying it's time to really be intentional about that creative or that entrepreneur or that magician energy. Don't just talk about it. Don't get lost in the discussion. I'm even feeling this is going so far as the planning, right? Don't go too deep in writing and planning and thinking and daydreaming. Get to it. Hop to it. You already know what to do. Make a quick list. Hop to it. You need some materials, write down the materials you need and get them and go. You need to make a new resume, you need to write a new cover letter, just do it. Spirit is saying that there's a lot of dilly-dallying. There's a lot of processing your needs, processing your desires, right? A lot of analyzing and rationalizing and reflecting. But you've done like I said, Spirit said, you're ready. You have the background knowledge. You're ready. Just do it. Execute. Let's move to hot seat, because that's where we are right now. Spirit is saying the time is now. The time is now. Hot seat. Remember I was saying musical chairs? Shit is getting hot right now. And I'm also getting, there are very few chairs available. In the upcoming rounds of this game, there are few chairs available. Okay? Hot. The kitchen is hot. Right? When you're in a hot seat, there's a timer, right? I'm thinking of like Jeopardy. Do 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 do. We're waiting on your answer. We're waiting on your answer. Because there's only a limited amount of time. What are you gonna do? Spirit is saying you need to figure out what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do it, and do it quickly. It's time to lock in. You ever get a job and like do training and you have to do all these modules of training? That's what all these trials and tribulations that you go through as you grow up, right? These redirections, these are modules. That's what you've been preparing. You have been in training this whole time. Yes, it feels tedious. Yes, it feels unrelated, right? Like those freshman classes, right? Those general education requirements. Yes, they feel tedious and worthless and useless, and that's not what you came here to do. But see, Spirit understands the needs of the program more than you, right? Spirit understands what you need to build on in order to reach your goal more than you do. That's why Spirit is saying, stop dwelling on the past, stop dwelling on the shit that didn't go well, and stop dwelling on the mistakes you made, and stop dwelling on this thing and that issue and this inconvenience, because it's not even, you don't even know. You think it's 10 times worse than it is. You don't even know how Spirit has set you up to win. Those were just mistakes, babe. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days, okay? Spirit says, move on, right? What do we do when we spill some milk? We wipe it up, we clean it up, and we push forward. We learn what we need to learn, and we keep going. So do that. You've been doing it. Every time a conflict or an issue or anything, anytime you spilled some milk in the past, what did you do? You learned from it. Spirit is saying, do that now. Keep that same energy, because you are set up to win. You're set up to win. Okay? So anyway, I think it's best to just leave the reading there for my collective. Please let me know if you enjoyed this reading and or it resonated. Feel free to comment. And if you would like to be notified whenever I post new videos, then please make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Bye.